In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the vibrational resonance of the parallel reality that you desire to experience. I'm going to show you exactly how to align with it so that you start to shift to it easier than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you more about understanding vibrational resonance when it comes to knowing that the parallel reality that you want to experience, what you think you want to manifest, you don't have to create it and have it attract from outside of you to inside of your life. Instead, it already exists. It's simply about understanding the vibrational resonance of it. Now, when you begin to shift and change your internal vibrational resonance, the outer reality will then begin to change as well. Now, the reason this is because the outer reality of what we experience is simply a reflection of our inner state of being. Now, when we allow more of our state of being, of who we really are, to come into fruition, we allow more of it to flow, we then see that we get an increased synchronicity in our life, that things start to manifest easier than ever. So this is about being aware that reality, as much as we want to go and change reality on the outside, reality is simply a reflection. So we must first change the inside. And when we change on the inside, then everything begins to change. Now, at the same time, when we normally think about it with the law of attraction, we think of it like, I need to attract something from over there into my life experience. But in the moment that we say that what we want is over there and we are not there already, we are emphasizing that lack in the present moment right now. And as we emphasize that lack in the present moment, we are not in vibrational resonance with it. So some of the things I'm going to share with you today may be game changers for the way you see manifestation in general. Because maybe you've been told that it is best to have a very strong desire, which at a certain level may be true because desire may get the energy moving. But if you remain in the wanting throughout the whole process, you end up resisting it over and over again. However, if you know when to shift that wanting into intention, you then see that things begin to change very powerfully. So this is about having the awareness of what the vibrational resonance of the reality you want to experience, what that is, because you always get in life that which is equal to your vibrational resonance. Now, first off, what is vibrational resonance? It's kind of a word, but what does it actually mean? Vibrational resonance, think of your vibration as your combination of your emotion and your motion. So emotion is that of how you feel. How do you feel a majority of the time? How do you feel in relation to whatever you want to experience? Because if you feel resistance, then you'll experience blocks of it. If you are coming at it from a point of maybe lower vibrational states of consciousness, which means you feel guilty about something, shameful, anger because you don't already have it, then you will experience a reality that is equal to those vibrational states. Now, a very important part or a very powerful part of understanding our vibration is our emotions. And understand that our emotions come from our beliefs. What do we believe to be true? Because in the beliefs is the meaning, and in that meaning is then the effect that we get out of it. For example, the idea of a rainy day is a neutral idea, has no built-in meaning, but my beliefs about a rainy day, my prior reference experiences will go into how I relate to that rainy day. And if it is something I like, if I like rainy days because I live in Vegas, it doesn't rain very often, then I feel positive emotion when it rains. If someone else is maybe from Seattle or Portland and it rains all the time there and it rains, maybe they don't like it as much because of the story they tell themselves or the beliefs they have about it. Now the idea is that the rainy days, the idea of it is a neutral idea, but the meaning we give it is the effect and the emotion that we get out of it. Now in general, this is the key as well, because if something happens in our life and we feel negative emotion about it, it's because whatever we believe to be true about the situation is causing us and making us feel that way. We are choosing to feel that way whether we're aware of it or not. For example, someone loses their job. They lose their job. Well, the perspective is they lost their job. So maybe they don't like the fact that they lost their job. The way that they are relating to the situation is they believe that they shouldn't have lost their job. They believe that they need their job. There's certain beliefs that are in place that cause them to feel that negative emotion. I've known people before that have lost their jobs or quit their jobs or whatever it is, and they were ecstatic because then they have all these opportunities that they could be open to. So it depends upon the perspective. You must first believe something to be true to then have an emotional response. Now, in general, that's a very big part of vibrational resonance. The other part of it is motion. Motion just simply means action. What are we consistently doing? When we're consistently doing something, when we're doing certain things, that's putting us in motion. So emotion and motion, doing certain activities. There's a certain vibrational resonance of you going to the park and walking around. There's a certain vibrational resonance of you going to the gym. Certain vibrational resonance of you watching the news. These are all different things that carry with it a certain vibrational resonance. So when you realize emotion and motion are making up your vibrational resonance, the key is now that we've identified what that is, now what would be the vibrational resonance of the reality that you want to experience? Because this is the thing, the reality that you want to experience, it already exists. So what you can do is use your imagination to imagine the best version of you living the kind of lifestyle you want, and then tap into the vibrational resonance of it, meaning the emotion and the motion of it. So when you look at the best possible version of you, understand that there's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. This is what quantum physics is showing us. This is what we know because the present moment is the only moment that exists. We've never experienced the past, because when it was the past, it was another moment of now. The future, the idea of the future is just an idea. The future never actually comes because it's always this moment right now. By the time the future gets here, it'll be this moment right now. Think of it like this. There's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist. In the same way, think of it like a film projector. I can stretch out a film projector right now, and I can show you many individual frames. I can say, look at this frame, look at this frame, look at this frame, look at this frame, look at this frame. Now, even though from the perspective of the light of the projector that's going through one frame at a time, they're just consistently going through it, even though we know that, we can see that each individual frame is a totally separate frame. Maybe even they look very similar, but they're just a little bit different. Just like if I were to go to edit this on my computer right now, you would see I could break it down into different little chunks because they're individual frames. Now, the idea is that all of these frames exist right now in the present moment. There's simply our perception of it is going through it at a rate to where it feels to be in continuity. It's just that the parallel realities that we shift to are so similar with so much fluidity that we think it's all one thing. But in actuality, they all exist right now. It's just our perception that's going through it at different times. Now, the power of this, the reason I'm even saying this, is so that you know that there's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist in each end, whether it's going to the past or the future. They all exist now. The degree to which you change and shift to the one you want will depend upon your vibrational resonance and your choices. Because when you make choices, you then move to different parallel realities. There's different probabilities that happen. And if you want to increase the probability of certain parallel realities happening, what you can begin to do is to start to set more intentions. Now, this is something I was talking about a little bit earlier as well. Now, when you think of it, mostly we think, oh, we need to have strong desire, strong desire, strong desire. But the key is to have the strong desire and then to shift that into intention. Intention is a focus on the outcome and a focus on the parallel reality that already exists. Focus on that and intending for that to happen. Intention is like the will, and it's the declaration. Think of your intention as the declaration of that. I intend ... What do you intend for? I intend to have a great day today. I intend to do this. I intend to do that. You can start to do it with small things, and then you can eventually move it up to bigger things. But understand that every possible parallel reality that you can imagine exists right now in the present moment. It's simply about tuning into the vibrational resonance of it. Because when you do that, then you start to embody the frequency of it. So I did this in many ways, and I've done this over the last 2 or 3 years. I remember imagining myself, I imagined myself, I was working a 9-to-5 job at the time. Many of you know the story. I've told it many times. I was walking around my hallway thinking, what could I do to get myself to where I'm not working this 9-to-5 job? and this feeling came within, and I just felt that if I were to treat my side passion as my full-time, it would become my full-time. Just had that feeling. So I started to make daily videos because that was my passion, was making videos on YouTube. So I went from making one video a week to making a video every single day, even though I was working a 9-to-5 job and I was working 40 hours a week, so I was very busy. But I knew that if I were to embody the vibrational resonance of that version of me, of what I could imagine, then eventually that would be my reality. And within 3 or 4 months, guess what? I was given the opportunity. It wasn't given it. It was something that I shifted to. I shifted to the reality where I am able to do what I love for a living, get up every day, make videos. It's early in the morning right now. I just took a cold shower and now I'm filming a video. This is my life because I shifted to that reality. And in the same way, you can shift to the reality you want by using your imagination as a tool to imagine what you would be doing in order to experience what you want. Now, if we were to go beyond this, okay, because this is the thing, I'm now going to be teaching more of how to shift to parallel realities on the YouTube channel and just in general, because I believe it is a more powerful modality than the law of attraction, than what people consider it. Like, of course, what you focus on expands. However, this is a more practical way of really identifying the vibrational resonance and how you can shift to where you want to go. But understanding you don't want to remain in the want, you want to shift it into a higher level of the best version of you. Now the thing is though, is most people when they go about this, they say, okay, well I want this, I want this, I want this. I want to experience more money, I want the nice car, I want this, I want that. That's great. And I'm going to be showing you how to do that. However, the key is knowing that when you get to the core of the best version of you, the main focus, you will want that to be your passion. To be what you're passionate about, because that is the highest vibrational version of you. You see, everyone thinks that what they want is, I want the car, the husband, wife, the this, that. I want all of this. But why do you want all of that? You want it for the emotion it will bring you. And the key is understanding that you can feel and embody those emotions now. You don't have to wait to some external time. Instead of wanting all of these things, what you can begin to do is to shift your own consciousness. To understand that the version of you that wants all of those things might actually be more of the ego, past version of you. Understanding that you can become more present to the moment, and instead of trying to do, instead of trying to have, you can be right here, right now, in the present moment, and this is where all the power is. Because when you say yes to the present moment, that is when transformation begins to happen. And many people, from the point of view of the law of attraction, or even now the parallel reality manifestation, you may look and say, I want to shift to that reality over there. We may just switch up the terms a little bit. But the key is having more awareness as to what is actually going on, because the only moment that does exist is this moment right now. So say yes to the present moment, because by allowing more of you to come through, which saying yes will allow more of you to come through, by saying yes, you then allow more malleability and flexibility in the experience of time and space. Things will happen even easier for you. So it's not so much how can you get to the end result. It's how can you embody more of your natural frequency right now in the present moment, knowing that you can transform your frequency and experience a shift in consciousness. Because there's different levels of manifestation. The law of attraction and parallel reality is that of what is called a 400 level and below, maybe even a 499 and below. If you've ever seen that chart that I've shared before, the chart from the book called Power versus Force with Dr. David Hawkins. You'll see a chart right over here. And on this chart, you'll see lower negative emotions at the bottom, such as shame, fear, guilt. Then eventually you move up to neutrality, which is a big step. And then eventually you get to that of willingness and then that of reasoning. Now, reasoning is really cool because it's the intellect. It's becoming aware of how you can shift from parallel reality to parallel reality, knowing that our beliefs create our reality, knowing that our beliefs are causing which parallel realities we shift to. It's all great and dandy. However, what we can then do is shift from the level of consciousness of reasoning into unconditional love, of knowing that that's who we are anyways, that we can embody that. And by embodying that, we experience more of what we want anyways. Things become more magical. We start to manifest from a higher vibrational state of consciousness. So everything I'm sharing with you right now will help you to get to the end result. But what I'm doing is I'm using that as kind of like the shiny light that maybe will help you to say, oh, okay, this is so cool, I want to do this. But then say, well, what about shifting consciousness? And then you say, yes, that's actually what I want anyways. I want to shift my level of consciousness. That is where the true power really is. It's in shifting the level of consciousness. So to shift to the reality you want, understand first off, it already exists. You don't have to create it. You don't have to try to get it from over there to over here. It's simply about embodying the vibrational resonance of it. The vibrational resonance has to do with your emotion and your motion. What are you feeling? What is your state of being? And your state of being comes from that of the meaning you give situations, from the beliefs you have about life or the beliefs you have about certain situations or whatever it is. And then motion, the action you are taking. What you can then do is use your imagination. Imagine the best possible version of you, everything you would be doing. How would you be acting? I imagined myself and I knew I was making daily YouTube videos. I was getting up every morning, passionate about what I was doing. I was being able to have the freedom to travel. I imagined this version of me and I started to embody the emotion and the motion of that version of me. I started to focus on how that version of me felt. What beliefs did that version of me have? Then I started to also focus on that of the motion. What actions was I taking? I was making daily videos. I was studying business. I was learning how to market. I was learning all of these different things. So I started to do it, and guess what? I shifted to the vibrational resonance of it. For a year and a half, I go around using this to attract the most amazing things in my life. And then I realized that there's a higher level of consciousness that we can begin to shift to, and that level of consciousness is shifting into saying yes to the present moment, being here now, understanding we can transcend that of the reasoning, go into that of unconditional love, and then as we do that, things are more magical anyways. It's almost like that is the string connecting us to the best possible parallel reality that exists. So parallel reality manifestation, whatever we want to call it, it is so powerful, but what is even more powerful is transcending the intellect and saying yes to the present moment. Because most of the version of us that is wanting to create a certain parallel reality is the past version of us. We can shift into the present moment. Now is all that exists. Shift here now. Be here now. This is where the power is. So I'm also creating something called the Shift Experience, which will be out in the next couple months. The Shift Experience will show you exactly how to go through this whole entire process, even more in detail, with guided meditations that will help. And it's something I think will absolutely transform many people's lives that go through it. If you want to be updated with that, as well as get daily or 4 to 6 times a week, I send a newsletter out with a whole bunch of cool information similar to the YouTube videos but more in written form. If you want to be a part of that as well, you can just hit the link at the top of the description box below. Also, I'm going to be doing more posts on YouTube, on Instagram. Actually, I do 2 times a day on Instagram, plus I'll be doing more live Q&As there. So if you want to interact with me, if you want to ask me questions, you'll see Instagram right here. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do, because the way YouTube does things now is you actually have to hit that button to see the daily vids. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.